Hello friend, have you ever watched a big cricket match where everyone in the stadium from every part of India is shouting India, India?
That powerful feeling, that goosebumps moment when we all feel like one family, that is the magic we're going to talk about today.
Now, let's travel back in time. Imagine our country, our Bharat, was like a beautiful bird locked in a cage by the British. For a long time, people felt helpless.
But slowly, a tiny spark began to glow in the hearts of millions. That spark was the feeling of nationalism.
What is this big word, nationalism? It's simple. It's that feeling from the cricket stadium. Nationalism is the belief that we share one home, one history, and one dream.
This feeling wasn't just a simple idea, it was a fire that grew from the desire for azadi, freedom from British rule.
This entire freedom struggle is what we call the anti-colonial movement.
In this journey, we'll see how different people, farmers, workers, students like you who had their own separate problems, all came together.
Their common enemy, the British, united them. We'll start our story from the 1920s. So, are you ready to see this incredible story of our freedom?
So, how did this small spark of nationalism start turning into a huge fire?
Well, it started with a massive war that was fought thousands of kilometers away. The First World War, 1914 to 1918. You might think, what did a war in Europe have to do with us?
War's impact and hardship. Imagine your family has a monthly budget for everything: food, school, clothes. Now imagine a huge, unexpected expense suddenly appearing.
What happens? The budget goes crazy. Money for treats or new things might stop. That's exactly what the British did to India.
They spent huge amounts of money on the war and made India pay for it by starting new taxes like income tax for the very first time.
Suddenly, the price of everything from dal and roti to vegetables doubled. For a common family, just getting 2 full meals a day became a massive struggle.
But it got worse. The British needed soldiers for their war, so they started something called forced recruitment.
Imagine British officers coming to your village and forcing your uncles or older brothers to join the army and fight a war that wasn't even ours. This created a storm of anger in our villages.
With this, the monsoons failed, crops dried up, a terrible food shortage began.
On top of this, a deadly sickness. The influenza epidemic spread like wildfire. Millions of our people lost their lives.
Everyone hoped that once the war ended, these dark days would be over.
But that didn't happen. India was hurting, it was angry, and it was losing hope. But it is always in the darkest night that a new sun rises.
And a new leader was about to arrive with a completely new way to fight.
Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, the man we lovingly call Bapu, returned to India from South Africa in 1915. He didn't bring guns or swords.
He brought a superpower, a completely new idea for a fight. He called it Satyagraha.
Satya means truth and Agraha means to hold firm. So Satyagraha means the power of truth. What was this superpower?
Gandhiji said that if you are fighting for the truth against something unfair, you don't need to use your fists, you need to use your heart.
Imagine you have a fight with your best friend. You know you are right. Do you start hitting them?
You talk to them calmly, you try to make them see your point of view. You appeal to their goodness.
Satyagraha is just like that. It is about winning by making the enemy's conscience, their inner voice, see the truth.
And don't mistake this for being weak. Gandhiji said this wasn't passive, it was a soul force.
It required more courage than fighting with a sword because you had to be strong enough not to hit back, even when you were being hurt.
He believed this term of non-violence could unite all of India.
Gandhiji tried Satyagraha in 3 places first: Champaran, Kheda and Ahmedabad. Champaran, 1917. He traveled to Bihar to help poor farmers who were being forced to grow crops that didn't help them. He stood with them and with Satyagraha he won. Kheda, 1917. In Gujarat, farmers' crops had failed, but they were still being forced to pay heavy taxes. Gandhiji organized a Satyagraha and the government had to bend.
Ahmedabad, 1918. He stood with the cotton mill workers who weren't being paid fairly, and his non-violent struggle brought them victory.
3 tests, 3 victories. India now had a new powerful weapon in its fight for Azadi. Gandhiji's early wins made him confident. It was time to take the superpower of Satyagraha national. But the British were getting scared.
And when bullies get scared, what do? They make cruel new rules.
In 1919, they passed a law called the Rowlatt Act. What was it?
It allowed the British to arrest any Indian and put them in jail for 2 years without a trial. It was a truly black law, a Kala Kanun.
Gandhiji called for a nationwide peaceful protest, a hartal or strike. The country responded.
Rallies were organized, shops closed down, railway workers went on strike. The British panicked. They arrested local leaders and banned Gandhiji from entering Delhi.
Then came that dark day, 13th April 1919, Baisakhi, a day of festival in Punjab.
In Amritsar, a large peaceful crowd gathered in a park called Jallianwala Bagh.
Some were there to protest, but many were just families out to enjoy the Baisakhi Mela. They had no idea that martial law had been declared.
A British officer, General Dyer, came with his soldiers. He blocked the only way out gate of the park. He gave no warning.
And then he ordered his men to open fire on the unarmed crowd, on men, women, and children.
Hundreds died. Dyer later said he did it to produce a moral effect, to create terror in the hearts of Indians.
The news spread like a forest fire. All of North India erupted in anger. There were strikes and clashes with the police.
The government responded with even more brutality. People were forced to rub their noses on the ground and crawl on the streets.
Seeing this cycle of violence, a heartbroken Gandhiji called off the movement.
The Rowlatt Satyagraha was mostly limited to cities, but it was a huge lesson. It showed that India could stand up as one.
But it also taught Gandhiji that for a truly successful movement, Hindus and Muslims had to be brought together. The fight was far from over.
A team is strongest when everyone plays together. Mahatma Gandhi knew this.
He believed that for Team India to win its freedom, its 2 biggest players, the Hindus and the Muslims, had to stand shoulder to shoulder. He was looking for a way to bring them together.
That opportunity came from a land far away. After the First World War, the British had defeated the ruler of Turkey.
Now, this ruler wasn't just a king, he was the Khalifa, the spiritual head of the Islamic world, respected by Muslims everywhere.
Our Muslim brothers and sisters in India were deeply worried and angry that the British would disrespect their leader.
To defend the Khalifa, a Khilafat committee was formed in Bombay. 2 brave Muslim leaders, the brothers Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali, started discussing with Gandhiji about taking united action.
Gandhiji saw this as a golden chance. This was the moment to unite Hindus and Muslims for a common cause.
So, at a big meeting of the Congress in Calcutta in September 1920, Gandhiji convinced all the leaders.
He proposed a powerful idea. Let's start a massive new movement of non-cooperation. We will support the Khilafat cause, and together we will all fight for one big goal, Swaraj or self-rule for India.
Okay, so the plan was to fight together. Gandhiji's idea was much smarter and far more powerful.
In his famous book Hind Swaraj, Gandhiji wrote that the British were ruling India only because we were cooperating with them.
We worked in their offices, studied in their schools, and fought in their army. What if we all just refused to cooperate? British rule would collapse in a year.
He called this amazing idea non-cooperation, and he laid out a step-by-step game plan.
First, everyone should surrender the titles and awards given by the British.
Then, a full boycott. Stop going to British schools and colleges. Lawyers should leave British courts.
People should quit jobs in the army and police. And most importantly, everyone should stop buying foreign goods.
Finally, if the British responded with force, a full-scale civil disobedience campaign would be launched.
But not everyone in the Congress was sure. Some leaders worried, what about the council elections we are supposed to fight?
Others feared, Will this peaceful protest turn violent? For a while, it seemed like the team might split before the match even began.
But finally, at the Congress session in Nagpur in December 1920, a compromise was reached. The non-cooperation movement was officially on. The Great Non-Cooperation Khilafat movement began in January 1921.
The call for Swaraj was like a powerful song, and the whole country started singing it.
But here's the fascinating part. Everyone sang it in their own tune. For each group of people, Swaraj meant freedom from their own special problems.
The movement in the towns. Let's first visit the cities, where the movement started with a bang. Thousands of students bravely walked out of government-run schools and colleges.
Headmasters and teachers resigned. Lawyers gave up their legal practices. It was like a giant, peaceful resignation letter to the British Raj.
The biggest impact was on the economic front. People boycotted foreign goods. Liquor shops were picketed, meaning protesters would block the entrance so no one could enter.
And in incredible displays of unity, huge bonfires were lit with foreign cloth. The import of British cloth was cut in half. It was a massive blow to their business.
People started wearing only Indian-made clothes, especially khadi, and our own textile mills and handlooms got a huge boost.
But after a year or so, the movement in the cities began to slow down. Why? Think about it.
If you boycott your British school, you need a new Indian school to go to, right? But these new institutions were slow to come up.
Also, khadi cloth, our symbol of pride, was more expensive than the cheap British factory-made cloth.
Poor people couldn't afford it for long. Slowly, students, teachers, and lawyers had to trickle back to their old jobs and courts. The path to freedom was not so easy.
While the cities were getting quieter, the Indian countryside was roaring to life. In Awadh, peasants were being crushed by cruel landlords called talukdars, who demanded sky-high rents.
The farmers were also forced to do begar, work on the landlords' farms for free. For these peasants, Swaraj meant freedom from these cruel landlords.
But the farmers of Awadh decided to fight back. Their leader was a brave sannyasi named Baba Ramchandra.
Their demands were simple and clear: lower the rent, abolish begar, and socially boycott the cruel landlords.
To do this, they used a genius, peaceful weapon. They organized Nai Dhobiband.
The village panchayatein told the local barbers, Nai, and washermen, Dhobi, to stop providing their services to the landlords.
Suddenly, the mighty landlords couldn't even get a shave or have their clothes washed. It was a simple but powerful protest.
Soon, leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru visited Awadh to understand their pain. The Ud Kisan Sabha, Awadh Farmers Association, was formed, and within a month, it had over 300 branches.
The Congress wanted to connect this powerful river of peasant anger to the national movement.
Farmers attacked the houses of landlords and looted bazaars. Some local leaders even spread rumors that Gandhiji had said it was okay not to pay taxes.
The Mahatma's name was being used to justify actions that went against his principle of non-violence, which worried the Congress leadership.
The Bardoli Satyagraha.
Another electrifying story of farmer power comes from Bardoli in Gujarat. In 1928, the government unjustly increased the land revenue.
The peasants, led by the strong and decisive Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, launched a powerful and disciplined Satyagraha. They refused to pay the new tax.
The Bardoli Satyagraha was a huge success and became a symbol of hope and strength for farmers all across India.
Now, let's travel south to the forests of the Gudem Hills in Andhra Pradesh. Here, the tribal peasants had a completely different idea of Swaraj.
The British government had closed off large forest areas, stopping the tribal people from grazing their cattle or collecting fruits and firewood.
Their way of life was under attack. When they were also forced to do begar to build roads, they revolted.
Their leader was a fascinating man named Alluri Sitaram Raju. He claimed he had special powers, that he could heal people and even survive bullets.
Raju greatly admired Mahatma Gandhi and urged his followers to wear khadi and give up drinking.
But he had one major difference in opinion. He believed India could be freed only by using force, not non-violence.
The Gudem rebels attacked police stations and carried out guerrilla warfare to achieve their Swaraj. Raju was eventually captured and executed in 1924, becoming a local folk hero.
And what about the workers in the huge tea plantations of Assam? They were living almost like prisoners.
A harsh British law, the Inland Emigration Act 1859, did not permit them to leave the tea gardens without permission, which they rarely got.
For these plantation workers, Swaraj meant only one thing: the freedom to go back to their own villages.
When they heard about the non-cooperation movement, they believed Gandhi Raj was coming and everyone would get land in their own villages.
Thousands of workers defied their British bosses, left the plantations, and started walking home.
Tragically, they never reached their destination. They were caught by the police on the way and brutally beaten up.
So you see, my friend, the peasants, the tribals, and the plantation workers all interpreted Swaraj in their own way. They didn't always stick to Gandhiji's path of non-violence.
But when they chanted Gandhiji's name and shouted slogans for a free Bharat, they were connecting their personal struggles to one giant All India freedom movement.
The movement was spreading like fire, a fire of hope, anger, and dreams. But a fire can also burn out of control.
In February 1922, at a place called Chauri Chaura in Gorakhpur, a peaceful demonstration turned violent.
The crowd clashed with the police, and in the heat of the moment, the police station was set on fire, killing several policemen inside.
When Mahatma Gandhi heard this news, his heart broke. His entire movement was built on one single promise: ahimsa, or non-violence.
He felt that the people were not yet properly trained for a peaceful struggle. He believed that a fight for truth could not be won through violence.
And so, with a heavy heart, he made one of the toughest decisions of his life. He called a halt. He withdrew the non-cooperation movement. If a big cricket match is paused because of rain, what does the team do in the dressing room? They discuss new strategies, right?
Some might say, let's play defensively, while others shout, no, let's attack from the first ball. A similar debate was happening inside the Indian National Congress.
After the non-cooperation movement was called off, some of the older, more experienced leaders like C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru were tired of mass struggles.
They had a new plan. Let's fight the British from the inside. Let's get elected to their own government councils and expose their unfair rules.
We will argue and debate and show the world these councils are not democratic. They formed the Swaraj Party within the Congress to follow this plan.
But the younger, more energetic leaders, the Josh Brigade like Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhas Chandra Bose, were impatient.
They pushed back, saying, enough of these small fights inside councils. We don't want a little bit of power.
We want Purna Swaraj, complete independence, and for that we need another massive street movement.
So the team was divided on the game plan. And while this debate was going on, two huge events happened in the country that changed everything.
The first factor was a worldwide economic crisis. Imagine your income disappears, but you still have to pay your shop's rent.
This nightmare happened to farmers all across India from 1926 onwards. Agricultural prices collapsed, and they couldn't sell their harvests or pay their taxes.
The entire countryside was filled with hardship and anger.
The second factor was a massive insult. The British government sent a team to India to discuss India's future.
It was called the Simon Commission. But here's the shocking part. In a team sent to decide the future of Indians, there was not a single Indian member. All of them were British.
When the Simon Commission arrived in India in 1928, The entire country greeted them with one thunderous slogan, "Go back, Simon." All parties, Congress, and the Muslim League united in protest.
During one such peaceful protest, the great leader Lala Lajpat Rai was brutally beaten by the British police and later died from his injuries. This tragedy lit a fire of anger across the nation.
In an attempt to calm the nationalists, the Viceroy, Lord Irwin, made an announcement in October 1929.
He offered a vague idea of dominion status for India. He also promised a roundtable conference to discuss a future constitution.
But for our young leaders, this offer was too little, too late. The time for half measures and vague promises was over.
In December 1929, the Congress had its yearly session in Lahore with the young and dynamic Jawaharlal Nehru as its president.
Here they made a historic, game-changing decision.
They declared that India's goal was not some dominion status. The goal was now Purna Swaraj, complete, total, absolute independence. Nothing less would be accepted.
And to make this dream a living reality for every Indian, they made a historic announcement. 26th of January 1930 would be celebrated as India's Independence Day.
On that day, people all across the country were asked to take a pledge to struggle for complete freedom.
The pledge was powerful and clear. It said that freedom is the birthright of the Indian people.
The British have destroyed our country economically, politically, culturally, and spiritually. Therefore, India must break the British connection and achieve Purna Swaraj.
But there was a small problem. While the idea was magnificent, the first Independence Day celebration was a bit quiet.
Mahatma Gandhi realized something crucial. Freedom was a big abstract word. To unite millions of people, he had to connect this grand idea to the simple, concrete, everyday issues of their lives.
So, what was that one thing that connected every single Indian from the richest industrialist in Bombay to the poorest farmer in Bengal?
Gandhiji, in a moment of genius, found the answer in a pinch of salt.
It seems so simple, doesn't it? But think about it. Everyone needs salt every single day.
Yet, the British government had a law giving them a monopoly, total control over making salt, and they put a heavy tax on it.
Taxing something as essential as the salt in our food was the most cruel and oppressive symbol of their rule.
Gandhiji sent a letter to Viceroy Irwin with 11 demands. The most important one was abolish the salt tax. He set a deadline, 11th March. The Viceroy arrogantly refused to even consider it.
So, Mahatma Gandhi began one of the most famous acts of protest in world history, the Salt March.
Accompanied by 78 of his trusted volunteers, he started walking from his Sabarmati ashram to the coastal town of Dundee in Gujarat.
For 24 days, they walked over 240 miles, about 15 kilometers a day. As they walked, thousands of people from villages came out to see and hear him.
The entire world was watching. On the 6th of April, he reached Dundee. He bent down, picked up a lump of salty mud and boiled it in seawater, producing a pinch of illegal salt.
With that simple act, he had peacefully broken a British law. This was the beginning of the civil disobedience movement.
This was different from the non-cooperation movement. Last time, the plan was to refuse to cooperate. This time, the plan was to refuse to cooperate and to break unjust colonial laws.
The movement spread like wildfire. Thousands across India broke the salt law. Foreign cloth was boycotted and liquor shops were picketed.
Peasants refused to pay taxes. Village officials resigned. The British government, terrified, began a cycle of brutal repression.
Congress leaders were arrested one by one, leading to violent clashes. When Gandhiji himself was arrested, workers in Sholapur attacked police posts and railway stations.
Peaceful protesters, including women and children, were attacked and beaten. In all, about 100,000 people were arrested. Seeing the intense violence, Mahatma Gandhi decided to call off the movement again. On the 5th of March 1931, he signed an agreement with the Viceroy, known as the Gandhi-Irwin Pact.
Under this pact, Gandhiji agreed to go to London to attend a roundtable conference to discuss India's future. In return, the government agreed to release the political prisoners.
Gandhiji went to London, but the talks failed and he returned disappointed. Back in India, he discovered that the government had begun a new cycle of repression.
Jawaharlal Nehru and Ghaffar Khan were back in jail and the Congress had been declared illegal.
With a heavy heart, Gandhiji decided to relaunch the civil disobedience movement. It continued for another year but had lost its initial energy and momentum by 1934. It is important to understand why different groups joined the civil disobedience movement. What did they hope for and what did Swaraj mean to them?
For rich peasants like the Patidars of Gujarat, Swaraj was a struggle against high land taxes. They were very active in the movement.
But when Gandhiji called it off in 1931 without getting the taxes reduced, they felt betrayed. Many refused to rejoin the fight in 1932.
For poor peasants, Swaraj meant not having to pay rent to their landlords. They wanted their unpaid rents to be cancelled.
The Congress was hesitant to support their no rent campaigns because it did not want to upset the rich peasants and landlords.
For the business classes, Swaraj was a chance to end colonial restrictions on their businesses.
Industrialists like Purushottam Das, Thakur Das and G.D. Birla gave financial aid to the movement. They saw Swaraj as a time when Indian industry could flourish without British competition.
The industrial working classes did not participate in large numbers. As the factory owners, industrialists came closer to the Congress, the workers kept their distance.
However, some workers in places like Nagpur did participate, wearing Gandhi caps and joining boycott campaigns as part of their own fight for better wages.
For women, a powerful new tune was sung by the women of India. This movement saw large-scale participation of women for the first time.
During the Salt March, thousands of women came out of their homes to listen to Gandhiji.
They marched in protests, manufactured salt, and even went to jail. Inspired by Gandhiji, they began to see service to the nation as their sacred duty.
For revolutionaries, and then there was a different fiery tune sung by revolutionaries.
Young heroes like Bhagat Singh, Jatin Das, and their comrades in the Hindustan Socialist Republican Army, HSRA, did not believe in non-violence.
In 1929, Bhagat Singh and Batukeshwar Dutt threw a low-intensity bomb in the Legislative Assembly, not to kill, but, as he said, to make the deaf hear.
He was arrested, tried, and executed at the young age of 23. His cry of Inquilab Zindabad, long live the revolution, made him a legend and an inspiration for India's youth.
My friend, the powerful song of Swaraj did not reach everyone equally. Not all social groups felt the same inspiration. Two large communities, in particular, had limited participation.
First were the nation's untouchables, who from the 1930s began to call themselves Dalit, or the oppressed. For a long time, the Congress had ignored their plight, fearing it would upset conservative high-caste Hindus.
Gandhiji declared that Swaraj would not come for 100 years if untouchability was not eliminated.
He called them Harijans, or the children of God, and even cleaned toilets himself to show the dignity of their work.
However, many Dalit leaders, especially the brilliant lawyer Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, believed that only political empowerment could solve their social problems.
He organized the Dalits and demanded reserved seats in educational institutions and, most importantly, a separate electorate, a system where Dalits would choose their own leaders.
This led to a major clash with Gandhiji at the Second Round Table Conference.
When the British government accepted Ambedkar's demand, Gandhiji began a fast unto death. He believed separate electorates would permanently divide Hindu society.
In the end, Ambedkar agreed to a compromise in the Pune Pact of 1932. The Dalits were given reserved seats in councils, but they would be voted for by the general electorate. Despite this, the Dalit movement remained cautious of the Congress-led national struggle. Similarly, many Muslim political organizations also had a lukewarm response to the civil disobedience movement.
After the non-cooperation Khilafat movement ended, a large section of Muslims felt alienated from the Congress.
They felt the Congress was getting closer to Hindu nationalist groups like the Hindu Mahasabha. The gap between Hindus and Muslims widened.
The leader of the Muslim League, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, was willing to negotiate for a united struggle.
He was even ready to give up the demand for separate electorates if Muslims were assured of reserved seats in the Central Assembly and representation based on population in Muslim-majority provinces like Punjab and Bengal.
But all hopes for unity collapsed when leaders of the Hindu Mahasabha strongly opposed this compromise.
Therefore, when the civil disobedience movement began, there was a deep atmosphere of suspicion and distrust between the two communities.
Many Muslim leaders and intellectuals were concerned about the status of Muslims as a minority in India.
They feared that in a Hindu-majority India, their unique culture and identity would be lost. The call for a united struggle for many fell on deaf ears. My friend, how did millions of different people in India start to feel like one single family, one nation?
The big freedom struggles we've talked about were a huge part of it. But the real magic also happened through our culture.
It grew through the stories we told, the songs that gave us goosebumps, and the powerful symbols that captured everyone's imagination.
Visualizing the nation, Bharat Mata. How do you draw a picture of a nation? It's a huge idea. So, our artists and thinkers gave our nation a beautiful human face, the face of a mother, Bharat Mata or Mother India.
This idea began with a song, Vande Mataram, written by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay.
It was a powerful hymn to the motherland and became the war cry of the Swadeshi movement.
Inspired by this feeling, the great artist Abanindranath Tagore painted his famous image of Bharat Mata.
In his painting, she is shown as a spiritual figure, calm, divine, and peaceful. She is giving her children shiksha, education, anna, food, and vastra, clothing.
Over time, other artists painted Bharat Mata in different forms. Sometimes she was shown holding a trishul, trident, and standing proudly beside a lion and an elephant, symbols of power and authority.
Showing devotion to this mother figure became a way of showing your nationalism.
Our leaders knew that the true soul of India lived in its villages, in the stories, songs, and legends passed down from generation to generation. This was our folklore.
Nationalists felt this cultural treasure had been damaged and looked down upon by the British, so they became treasure hunters.
They traveled to countless villages, sat with elders and traveling bards, poets, and began collecting these amazing folk tales and songs.
Greats like Rabindranath Tagore in Bengal and Natesa Sastry in Madras collected thousands of these stories.
They believed that folklore was our national literature, the purest expression of the people's real thoughts and feelings.
Creating symbols of defiance.
To unite people in the struggle, symbols were incredibly important.
During the Swadeshi movement, a tricolor flag, red, green, and yellow, was designed. It had 8 lotuses representing the 8 provinces of British India and a crescent moon for Hindu-Muslim unity. The Chaka was a powerful Gandhian symbol of self-help and economic independence. Carrying this flag high during marches became a powerful act of defiance.
Reinterpretation of history.
Another way to build national pride was to rewrite our own history. The British always painted a picture of Indians as backward and unable to rule themselves.
Our nationalist historians replied, "Really? Let's show you our real report card."
They wrote about the glorious achievements of ancient India when we were world leaders in
art and architecture,
science and mathematics. We gave the world the number 0.
religion, culture, and philosophy. The message was simple and powerful. We were a great civilization and we can be great again.
We must fight to change the miserable conditions under British rule. and reclaim our glorious past.
But there was a challenge. When this glorious past was celebrated, it was often a Hindu past using Hindu symbols. This sometimes made people from other communities feel left out. So my friend, what an incredible journey it has been. Anger against the British united diverse groups like farmers, workers and tribals in a common struggle for freedom.
Led by Congress and Mahatma Gandhi, they all fought for Swaraj, though the word meant different things to each of them.
For a peasant, it was freedom from landlords. For a business owner, it was freedom from unfair competition.
This diversity sometimes caused internal conflicts, which the Congress tried to manage.
Ultimately, India emerged not with a single voice, but like a choir with many voices, all united by the single powerful song of freedom from colonial rule. Got any questions? Ask in the comments below. We are here to help. Subscribe for more. And let's keep learning together. That's a wrap. Now go out there and amaze the world with what you've learned. See you in the next one.